Happy midday, fellow Facebookers. McBob here. A few more people I like to say good day to, but when I get up here, my head goes blank. I can't remember all their bloody names. But also to my Facebook friends in Australia and also in the States, good day to all of yous. Today we're going to talk about the solo twin I have here. I've had this saw since about 1986. I bought it by chance, more or less. But we'll get into that story in a second. The whole reason behind this saw was I used to have a solo rep come up and see me. His name was Horst Schragle. Horst was the New South Wales manager for Solo Australia, and a very nice bloke, very much the German. And out here we have a holiday, or not really, we don't call it, we shouldn't say that I suppose, but we have a day we call August the 1st, is the horse's birthday. Well, Horst's name was Horse, so I was ringing him up on August the 1st to wish him happy birthday. Now the old fella took a while to cotton on to that one, so I was having a bit of a shot at him really, trying to get a laugh out of him, but I don't think Horse was born with a sense of humour, and took a long time before I'd crack up when I'd say it to him, but yeah, it's a pity. I expected him to laugh, but he never did. Anyway, back to the reason for this story. Solo twin. These saws were produced about 1965 and sold here in Australia for a couple of years, probably about 2 or 3 years. I have another one inside, which is the big bore version. This one is 100cc. This is the saw that I raced at Eden in 1987. There's a bit of a story to it. A guy came into the shop one day when I was out at Greeter. That would have been 1986, and he was dragging his poor old thing by a starter cord. Looked pretty derelict. He says to me, "Can you get bloody bits for these things?" I said, "Well, oh, that's funny. I had a solo rep here a couple of weeks ago." I said, "We were talking about solo twins. I'd never actually seen one." I said, "This bloke had an example in his hand." I said, "No, parts of those were pretty hard to get. It's probably been 20 years since anything was available for them." So he was a bit dejected, and I said, "Look, I'll tell you what, I'll do a bit of a trading deal." I said, "If you want a saw going, I'll buy a new saw." So I sort of like sweet talked him into buying a 603 solo. Anyway, tickle pink, it was 100 something cc, so away he went, and I thought, well, I've got myself a solo twin now. Because the conversation with Horse was that he had bought one, they had one sent out to here from Germany. It had been prepared by a factory over there in Germany, and had been fitted with a 25mm Tilton carburettor, and it gave us sort of a fair bit of a, well, I didn't know it was fast or not because there's nothing else to compare it to, but it sounded to me like it had a fair bit of grunt in it. And Horse said, "Oh, this is the fastest solo twin in Australia." Well, everywhere I take it I do well. I thought, well, okay. As I said, I didn't know shit can play. Anyway, and I said, "Well, if I get onto one of those fours, you'll have yourself a race. I'll see how I can get, if I can find one and get it going, and we'll organise a day somewhere and we'll have a bit of a race and see how it goes." Okay, Bobby, he sort of laughed and he walked out the shop. Anyway, I gave him the order for the day and parts and bits and pieces I needed, plus I'd order for new stock, and away Horse went happy as Larry. Anyway, as I said, I got this saw, been brought to the shop for repairs, and I talked to the man to leave it here. I bought it off him by part of a trading deal, and so once I knew that, I thought, well, yeah, let's get this thing ready, give Horse a bit of a high. So that's my twin. Best it on a shelf somewhere, collects a bit of dust, but I wouldn't want to go out and use it too much, because if you blow the bloody things up, there's no bits. Anything you find from is expensive as anything. I now have 4 more twins. It take me a long time to get them together, and a real collector's saw, so I'm not prepared to make them out, run for a long, because if anything went wrong with them, I can't get bits for them. If I do get parts, very, very, very expensive. So it is a treasured item. And what I done to this poor old beast was, must remember, this is 1986, 1987, and if you have a look from here, there's a few modifications to it. And one of them was making up a alloy adapter, take the place of the original intake manifold adapter, to fit the large 35mm BDC carburetor that McCulloch put out. I had a couple of spare ones of those, so I thought, well, I'll screw one of these onto the old solo twin and see what happens. And it made a pretty big difference to the saw. It certainly lifts the RPM, and it changed the power curve of the saw. And I thought, well, yeah, it's not going to be no gut screamer thing. It's only going to pull about 13.5 flat out, and when we put back under load, we was getting around about 11.8, 11.9. Saw's hanging in there a bit. It's got a little bit of torque because it's a twin. And oh, yeah, that'll do me. I done a little bit of work on the ports, lift the ports a little bit, relieve the muffler because I didn't want to make it look too snazzy because also get wind of what was going on. Then I had the saw set away and polished. It looked like a big ball of chrome when it come back. Very impressive saw. And I had engraved with my shop details on the side, Bob Cornwall's mowers and chainsaws, and my phone number. And across the front of it I had engraved on it, Kriegfurt, war horse in German. And I thought, well, when horse gets close enough to read it'll be too late. But I could have a bit of fun with horse anyway. So horse had rang me over the next few months and we made arrangements to go to Eden. So the chainsaw races there, I think that might have been either late January or February sometime in '87. And yesterday was on. I also rang my mate Gordon Clark. He used to work for St George Carts many years ago. He has his own steel dealership now at Moorbank. Gordon's a nice bloke. Get a bit up in years, but yeah, he's still a funny guy to talk to and hang with. He ran a couple of Macs. So I told him to drag his old Macs down there. I might have something to race with. What I hadn't told Gordon was I've been over and bought the engine off Darcy Peck. He had a 91B1. And I put that into a saw, and that went pretty good. And I thought, well, there's two birds with one stone now. I can probably knock off horse, and I can probably definitely knock off Gordon. Because Darcy Peck said to me, if Gordon beats this, I'll give you your money back. And we shook hands on it. Right? And I know Darcy Peck's a tight ass, he wouldn't give you your money back, so I was pretty certain I had something that had a bit of go in it. So, right up, we're down to Eden. And a sad day, we're sitting there in the car park, or around the little tents we had there, we're sitting there, and Gordon said to me, we didn't know horse had turned up. So I said, well, I'll go and give you a start up, Bob. So being young, stupid, naive, I went over, got out of the car, put some fuel, gave her a crank over, gave it for your revs. Well, we just about walking over to a log, and instead of bit on that, horse turned up at the worst possible moment, and the trap was sprung. So we got an indication, well, old horse didn't hang around. He put his shit back in the car, went back to Sydney. No race for Sunday. I beat him without putting the saw in a log. Anyway, on the Sunday I had a race against Gordon. And I beat his back on time, but through my poor ability, I'd cut out on the third cut. They used to mark the third cut limitation with a rubber band. If the rubber band was gone, you was out. And on the last part of that uppercut, I clipped the rubber band, it was gone bing into the bush. And I lost the money. Gordon got $250. I got a smack in the ear and sent home. Gordon still laughs about it. At least he had the money. I just gripped the save. But anyway, that's the story of the solo twin. I definitely enjoyed the time that I went away with it and try and take a place and have a bit of a race with it, but it was never really meant to be a sort of race. It was built just to give old horse a bit of a fright, and I think I'd done that. A few years later, horse told me that his saw was stolen from his property in Sydney. He used to be at Milperra, and the saw was taken. I don't know if horse ever got the saw back. It was a nice saw, and it's a pity that someone actually stole the bloody thing and horse was denied the chance of having it. I feel sorry for horse that way. But okay guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and as I find more saws and shit, and there's plenty of them, we can sit down and have a yak about them. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and click like, and I'll do likewise with your videos. Thank you very much fellas, have a nice day.